Hi, this is a guide on how to create your schedule to provide services for our students that receive specialized services. So when you're looking at this video, you probably already saw the screen with this guide from General Ed. The Office of Teaching and Learning provided with this guideline of what an elementary schedule should look like. These minutes for literacy, for math. Then based on the OTL guidelines, what we did is we created a schedule for K2, and they look very similar from the ones K2 and 3.5, but we wanted to make this distinction between K2, for example, for literacy, we'll be working with Fontes and Pinel, while 3.5 will be working with Sunday. Other than that, the schedules are the same. So the most important piece is the breakdown of the minutes for the lessons is on the left column. And then we have, for example, 20 minutes. This is a part where you can put social skills group during morning meeting. And then during readers workshop and literacy work, in this link, you will find the document from OTL that gives you the pie chart with the exact breakdown and what are the expectations for Gen Ed for their lessons. So during this work, there is between 30 to 40 minutes of independent work where the special ed teacher has the openness to work with some of the students. Now in elementary, we have students that sometimes receive 3 times a week, 2 times a week, once a week, or 5 times a week. And that is why I talk about this openness of how to provide those services in here. It is important to remember that we are not the only ones providing the services for our students, but we are that third scoop of support, meaning that students is very important that they receive services from their general ed teacher, and then we provide an extra scoop of support. For example, during the 30 minutes of skill blocks that the students have, students should be part of a flex group with their general education teacher. So if the student goes with their teacher twice a week in the Gen Ed flex group for skills block, then we have 3 other days that we can work with that student. In this event that this particular student has 5 times a week, we could do some direct minutes 3 times a week. 2 times a week, the student can be working with the Gen Ed teacher. And then for our direct minutes, it could also be some sort of asynchronous assignment on Seesaw. In this other part, we have the math. For math and writers workshop, it is the same. There is a mini lesson. It's called part 1 for math. Then it's called, they have another section called math review. So there are different sections that the students can have openness and flexibility to work with both the general ed teacher and the special ed teacher. This is the elementary 3.5. Like I said, the only difference between these two guides are that 3.5 will be working with Sunday, K2 will Fontes and Pinel. Then you reviewed, hopefully, your quick video on how to do your caseload on NPLAN. And this was just a quick, fast way to export. And now we're going to see all those documents together in order to create a schedule for our students. So this is the one that after we exported and we provided services in a quick overview of what are all the services that my students, for example, receive. Then I need these documents plus the general education master schedule. This is just an example of how one school is going to provide the services for their students. Then we have teacher schedule. This is going to be my schedule. So I have my day starting at 9:30 because the particular school that I picked starts at 9:30, Monday through Friday. And then the last tab is the student schedule. I picked student number 6 and what his minutes are and what would his schedule look like. So again, how I did it is I just went through blocks of literacy looking at their grade level. This particular school has just one teacher, and it has to work with 90 students K5. So it's a little bit more tricky to organize the schedule. But if you are a teacher that works with K2 or 3-5, sometimes the schedules are a little bit easier to organize. I based the minutes on this, and then I created the minutes. In the previous, at the beginning of this video, I was talking about direct instruction and what does that mean. And so there is a document that specifies what is direct instruction for us, right? So a Google Meet, which would be synchronous time, or a Seesaw Schoology assignment, that could be also counted as direct instruction, and that is asynchronous. And this is what's going to help us be able to fulfill all the minutes that are on the IEP for our students. So in example, the student that I was mentioning, right? He received at the beginning, I said 5 times a week of direct instruction for literacy. So literacy is this soft pinkish reddish. So we have Google Meet direct instruction with student, and then another Google Meet, and then another Google Meet. And then if you can see, there is on italics letters, Seesaw Schoology assignment for student 6 in literacy, right? So at the same time, we are going to be assigning Schoology or Seesaw asynchronous assignments. They will count as part of their minutes, but they are not going to be in this specific time. They can do them whenever they want. For the purpose of my schedule as a teacher, I put it in here just to make sure that I counted those minutes, and then I make sure that I provide all the services that the students are going to receive, or the IEP says that they need to receive. So this, all the letters that are in italics are just for the sake and purpose of me making sure that I'm counting all the minutes. So the student, for example, this student 13 is receiving Google Meet, Google Meet, Google Meet, and then he is receiving 2 days of asynchronous assignment, but they're all counted as direct instruction, so he's receiving 5 times a week. So for example, these 3 days he meets with the special ed teacher. In these last 2 days, he can meet in a flex group with the gen ed teacher or the EL teacher or whatever other services the student is receiving. I color coded. I'm gonna put the links to these. I work really well with Excel. I not all the teachers work with Excel. I like to put it like this because then I can see specific times that I'm gonna be working with them. And then until the end of the day. Then, so for this I did student 6. So I went and I looked for where am I meeting with student 6 all the times, right? So this is how his schedule is going to look like. So these would be times that are going to be filled with general education times. I will be meeting with him, for example, on Thursday. This is going to be helpful not just for the student, for the parents, but also for the paraprofessionals that we work on, right? We can say you're going to be working with this students, and these are the schedules, and this is what you need to come in and support them during the general ed time, or while I'm in a Google Meet with other students and we go into break rooms, then the para can support that student. I just copy paste the amount of minutes that each student receives just to make sure that they were all in here. Like I said, seasonal assignments. You know, I'm going to provide these for my students, so you can do this at your own time. And the last piece would be the contingency plan. Every student is going to have a contingency plan, and I will show you that in a second of this same student.